Good afternoon and welcome to Your Business Live, brought to you by CONNEXX. Sorry for the delay, having a couple difficulties, but all situated and we are good. So we do this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a way to introduce the members of CONNEXX to anyone that is catching it on any platform that it's streaming on. What is CONNEXX? CONNEXX is a personal and business development team. We say team because together everyone achieves more. We're a community of people who own businesses or books of businesses, and we exchange referrals, contacts, connections, ways to help each other in business and ways to help each other in life. We come on Tuesdays and Thursdays, inviting guests and then doing an interview. And today, our guest is someone who's been a member of CONNEXX for the last couple of months. His name is Christopher Ulrich. And
Hey,
hi, Chris, if you could introduce yourself and tell everyone what it is that you do.
sure. So thanks for having me on. I'm Chris Ulrich, president of Direct Response Group. We've spent the last 25 years or so doing online marketing, lead generation, websites, Facebook, search, etc. Basically, we build everybody else's businesses. Goal is to be everybody's rainmaker. We've generated over 700 million so far for clients, and looking forward to that big billion.
What kind of clients do you work with typically, or who's your average client that you look to work with?
Yeah, so our clients are typically small businesses, very often along the lines of professional services. They could be lawyers, doctors, technology companies. We've worked with builders, solar energy companies, basically medical. Anybody who's looking for a high-end client themselves. So we're not really for the local hair salon or the local restaurant. So what we're doing is we're generating the leads, generating the business, generating the inbound for our clients where their customers tend to be worth $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 or more. We also do work with e-commerce. E-commerce obviously can be any size, from a $50 transaction to a $5,000, $10,000 transaction. But on the lead generation side, about bringing a new business, new clients into a business, it typically tends to be that middle and upper tier price-wise, not the people going for the daily purchase from the local deli, the local bagel store, etc.
And what exactly is lead generation? Like, what does that mean, and how do you go about doing that?
Sure. So there's actually a lot of confusion about it. So a lot of people out there claim to be a lead generator. And what they're really doing is they're just buying a list. And then they're selling that list to as many people as they can. Or they're buying a lead and selling that lead to 5 people. So what we do is we either work with you, your business, your website, driving traffic to you, to people who are going to pick up the phone or who are going to call in and inquire. In some cases, we'll build a website, we'll build the landing pages, we'll build the marketing funnels, we'll capture the leads and just push them to you. But what's different with us is anything that you get is exclusively yours. So we're not brokers in the sense that we're generating mortgage leads all day long and we're sending them out to 10 different mortgage companies. If we work with somebody who does mortgages, we'll generate leads and just send them to her, send them to him all day long on whatever comes in. We might work with 5 or 10 different mortgage companies, but they're not really competing with each other. It's a really big universe. Lots of people need mortgages, for example. So we can work with 5 or 10 people, run separate campaigns, generate them their own unique leads, their own unique opportunities, and just push those opportunities to them specifically.
When you start working with a new client, do you come up with a strategy with that client, or do you then come back to the client and you prepare a different situation or scenario with each person you're working with?
So it's really a hybrid. So we have nothing cookie cutter. It would be a lot easier if we did. But with every client, we sit down, we might spend hours with them, really learning about the business, who's their perfect prospect, who is it that they want to talk to, who is their avatar, that profile of a customer that they're trying to reach. And then based on the business they're in, the kind of thing that they're trying to sell, price points, etc., we'll recommend one or more tactics. So we do a lot of things. We do SEO, pay-per-click, Facebook marketing, email marketing, LinkedIn marketing, newsletters, email blast, continuity campaigns, retargeting. There's a whole list of things we do, but nobody gets all of those. Really, it's what fits your business. So if you're trying to reach business people, it's probably a combination of LinkedIn, email, and maybe search if there's enough volume. If you're consumer-based, it might be more Facebook, email, and search. We're working with one client now who has a product that nobody knows about. So traditional things like Google won't help because nobody's looking for it. Nobody knows it exists. So in this case, we have to come up with new tactics that really educate people on what this new thing is.
And when you're doing, like you just said, finding, I guess, what items or what in your arsenal is good for whichever client, is it something that you try for a period of time and keep adding things to it? Or is it something where it's based on a budget of what they're looking to spend?
Right.
How do you go about that?
Yeah, so we always start small and grow. So my philosophy is let's start with a budget, figure out what works, and build more of it. We don't want to start with a huge budget just to identify losers and whittle away. That's just burning clients' capital. So we'll come in, we'll lay out a game plan. We start very conservatively. We figure out what's working and what isn't, and then we ramp up from there. And that's the typical growth pattern that the clients see. And a lot of strategies, it does take time. You know, if you're an expert marketer, what it really means is you're an expert tester, right? Nobody has a crystal ball. I can't write one ad for somebody and say, this is it, this is going to change your life. We'll create a half dozen ads, a dozen ads that in our experience should perform. But invariably, one or two of them outperform the others significantly. So great. So we wean away the others. We focus on what's working. Then we build more. Test, build more. Test, build more. So it's always a growth process. It's always a learning process. And we've had some clients take their budget way beyond what they ever thought they would simply because the ROI is so high. You know, if I give you an opportunity and put in $1 and you take out 12, you'd be a fool to not put in more dollars. And that's the goal, is to build those profit machines, basically, where people just put in X dollars a month, they take more than X dollars out. In the end, it really didn't matter what they spent because it was all paid out of profits, and then profits on top of that.
Nice. What's an example of a recent client you had, and how were you able to help them?
Let's see. So we have one client who, it was an interesting challenge because they came up with a new first aid life-saving device. And it's new to the market. People don't know it exists. So search wasn't really relevant for them. So in their case, we use an approach on Facebook where we target certain people in certain demographics, certain geographies, certain interests to get a consistent conversion rate, to drive in sales on a steady basis. And then that just grows and grows and grows. And what you'll find in a situation like that where somebody's selling a product is sometimes the issue is, can they keep up with demand? Because if you can sell enough of it, can they produce enough to keep up? So that's one where we just totally put away our Google hat. You know, we do a ton of Google, but it just didn't make sense for them. So we had to come up with some new strategies that introduce something, educate, and inspire people to take out a credit card all in one step.
Okay. Another question. How do you get the new product out there so people can search for it?
Do you have an example? Are you talking about like introducing a brand new product that's new to the market, or?
Yeah, I think that's what she meant.
Okay. So it really depends. So if you are filling a need, right? So let's say you've come up with the next Yeti cup that keeps drinks cold forever, right? If you invent a product like that, there is a market for thermal cups and for vacuum cups. So people are already searching for those things. If you take the other product we had where it's a new device that nobody even knows about, taking it to search wouldn't be the right approach, because the reason you want to be found in Google is that people are looking. If nobody's looking for what you're selling, Google's a waste of time. So if there's already demand and you've just built a better mousetrap, then focus on the demand. Now, obviously, you want to be found for the name of your product. That should be relatively easy. But you want to be found really on the problem it solves. So let's say, we're talking about a vacuum cup. Somebody might be Googling, how do I keep my drink cold all day? That's something that you want to address because you're solving a problem. So Google is great. People on Google are what I call the hand raisers. They're ready to do something. They're looking to do something. They're proactive. They're searching. They're looking for a solution. But it really only makes sense if people are already searching. So Google has some free tools. Anybody can sign up for a Google ad account. And once you have an ad account, there are tools in there where you can research keywords and research the volume on keywords. And if you're finding all your keywords, get 20 searches a month, 50 a month, 100 a month, 200 a month, there's not enough there. You need keywords that are getting thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of searches a month to have the kind of volume that's going to sustain a business. Because if only 200 people a month search for what you offer, maybe 10% of people click on you. That's 20. Maybe out of 20, one picks up the phone and calls you. So now you're getting one phone call or one lead or one sale a month. So that tells me Google's not the right platform and you should look elsewhere.
Okay. And what is pricing like? Like, what's a basic starting price, or how do you come up with the cost per client?
Yeah, so it really varies on what the client needs. Typically, our clients can spend anywhere from some of the more basic services, $1,000 a month, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month, depending on the number of things they're doing and the scale of it. And then on top of that would be media costs. So we have clients who, for example, we run their Facebook for them, and then they might be spending $50,000 a month on Facebook ads. And you'd be surprised. There are small businesses out there, 1, 2, 3 employees who spend 20, 30, 50,000 a month on advertising. And you think, well, how can they do that? Well, if you go back to the example, if I spend $5,000 on Facebook and I bring in $30,000 on sales and I have a 50% margin, now I've just netted $10K that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So even though 5,000 sounds like a lot to me, nothing's guaranteed. But if you've got the formula down and you're generating consistent results, you put in $1, you net 2 or 3 or 4, you just scale up and scale up. And we see that happen a lot with small businesses who really have that capacity.
And without ramping up your advertising, then your sales are going to slow down. So it's a
Precisely.
Double-edged sword where someone doesn't want to spend, but without spending, you won't get the sales. So no, it makes perfect sense.
And especially in something short-term like e-commerce. I try to explain to my clients that you're not really spending your money. You're spending the customer's money. So I have one client who sells gift baskets. The average gift basket is $100. And we bring in customers for about 20. Her cost of goods is about 40, plus one is $40 per gift basket. So that's great. And we'll do that all day long. So for her, for every 20 she puts in, she's taking out 60 profit. 20 goes straight to Google to pay for the clicks. 40 goes in her pocket. So even though she may spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars a month, she's not actually spending it. It's being paid out of revenue. So even though in your mind you're spending a lot of money, you really have to think, am I investing my money or am I just turning cash flow through my sales? Now, a lawyer, it's a different perspective because they generate leads and it may take them years to settle a case. So in their case, they really are investing their own money and it's going to be a long time before they get an ROI. But if you're in a business where it's e-commerce and the sale is immediate, or you're a local service company and somebody's going to sign up in a week, really paying your marketing for you out of revenue. So that a lot of people get intimidated thinking, I can't spend that much. I can't go into my pocket. But once they realize they're not going into their pocket, they're just paying out of revenue, the sky's the limit.
That makes sense. Well, thank you for that today. Very informative and good information. For more information to learn more about what Chris does, you can reach out to him directly. His phone number is listed at the bottom, or send him an email. And like he said, my takeaway from this interview is everyone's heard you have to spend money to make money, but when you can look at an ROI based on how much money you're putting out, it makes sense. And dollars, right, Sean? So thank you, Chris, for coming on today. Look forward to learning more about your business, and I will definitely speak to you because something you said was a really good point about that. But thank you, and have a good day, Chris.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Everybody.
You got it. Well, Sean, that made a lot of sense as far as what he was saying. Spending and seeing the return. I think many businesses only look at how much is something going to cost them instead of this being an investment. How much will this bring to me?
100%. Yeah, I think Chris, him and I met. He's a newer member of CONNEXX, and I think now with just it's more important ever to to advertise your business in pretty much all over the place. I mean, the old days of just paper marketing or signs and collateral, it doesn't work. I mean, it may work, but you need to be online. You need people to be able. You have to be searchable. You need to be on social media. You have to have a presence, and you need to speak to someone that's gonna give you an overall game plan. So, I would definitely recommend Chris.
Sean, can I make you laugh at something that I realized? And I'm just going off the cuff here because at a certain point I start to just go nuts, I think. It's funny because I've heard people say they can't get their kids' attention because their kids' heads are buried in their phone, and then they'll turn to their side at a restaurant. Back in the days when we went to restaurants or wherever you are. I was in line at CVS the other day, and I saw that everyone in line, like 12 people, were all on their phones, facing their phones, scrolling around. So they're either on social media or they're researching or looking at something, anything to avoid contact with people, even more these days. So for anyone that still doesn't do any kind of advertising online or doesn't have an online presence, I really think you should close your business and go get a job somewhere else, because you're just doing the inevitable, because you cannot sustain business if you can't reach people. And the fact that we're not meeting in person anymore, or the fact that no one's really seen each other in person because of social distancing, the only way you have to connect with people is through their phones or through wonderful organizations like CONNEXX, in which we're brought together, again, using technology. So for all those that are opposed to technology and think it's going away, or this whole internet or World Wide Web thing is a trend and it'll be gone like rock and roll music and cell phones and the Nintendo glove, then you definitely aren't being a progressive forward thinker. So on that note, tonight at 7:30 p.m. until 8:30, 1 hour, we have our CONNEXX Tech and Design meeting. If you work in any area of technology or design, it can be anything design pertaining to home design, home remodeling, clothing, any kind of apparel, promotional apparel, any of those categories. If you do any of those things, you are welcome to join us tonight. Our website is listed down below and scrolling. For more information or to register, go to getconnexx.com. We'd love to meet you. And I think Chris gave some great information, and that should definitely convince everyone who's been waiting to do something or start any kind of social media page, including Marco Polo, to all those who are on that and I've been meaning to. Now's your time. So, Sean, on behalf of Sean and I and everyone with CONNEXX, thank you for taking the time to see this on your business live. Hope to see you tonight, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Take care, everybody.